What happened when I was asleep? I was 18. It was 1996, and I worked for an arborist, a job that supplied me with more money than all of my friends, and it was great. The office was also the apartment of the arborist and his wife, and their two professionally trained Rhodesian Ridgebacks. When arborist and his wife planned their short trip to Florida, of course I was going to be the one first in mind to house sit and to walk their dogs. They were to be walked every morning at 5:30 and every evening at 5:30. The first night was enjoyed eating takeout, enjoying a little time by myself, and typing in chat rooms. This was when we were first exposed to the internet, and it was wild. Next thing I knew, it was after 3 in the morning, so I decided to get a little bit of rest right before walking the dogs. So I set the alarm, and I laid my clothes on the chair next to the couch that I was going to sleep on. So as I was laying down, I paid extra attention to my sweater, which was folded atop the rest of my clothes. I didn't know why at the time, but I noted it. The plan was to throw them on, walk the dogs, get a little bit more sleep, and then start the day work-wise. My eyes lingered on the sweater before turning around and falling asleep. So I woke up over a half hour late, and the first place that I landed my eyes was on my neatly folded clothes next to the couch that I slept on. The chair was only a few feet from my head. As soon as I looked, it registered that my sweater wasn't there. It was almost as if I knew it wasn't going to be, but my mind went to one of the dogs. He was sometimes mischievous, so I thought maybe he took it elsewhere. So after scouring through the apartment, I began to look behind closed doors and drawers even. It was ridiculous. I knew the sweater wouldn't be in those places, but I still thought it would be less weird if it was than not to be anywhere at all to be found. The dogs were still waiting, so after about 30 minutes of searching, I resigned to acceptance and chose to wear one of the puffy vests that were hooked onto the rack by the door. So we stepped out the door, and as I made the turn from facing the direction of walking out of the door to facing the door to lock it, somewhere in between there, I saw it. My sweater. So I continued locking the door as my blood went cold and my mind registered what I saw. There were 2 landings till the lobby, and the first one was comprised of a few steps with a small floor after, the second one a long stair landing, and then the lobby. So we walked to the stairs. I saw a ball of clothing with my sweater as the outer shell. As I went to pick it up, after a quick mental deliberation, I see it's tied around a small black t-shirt with a stenciled basketball, like a skeleton of a basketball, an orange iron-on type of basketball, and 1 white sock. So after untying the loose knot, I took my sweater and I walked the dogs in Prospect Park, which was right across the street from the building. But I was terrified. But I felt it was very important not to show any fear. I felt like I was being watched, and I refused to show any fear to whomever was watching. So after we finished the walk, I went inside and knocked on the super's door, who lived right across the hall from the arborist. Between his Spanish and English and my Spanish and English, I realized that he was also confused. His only idea was there was some crazy guy who lived on the 6th floor. Now I know that the only people that had keys to that apartment were the arborist, his wife, and the company tree climber. The 2 dogs even barked at me when I first came into the apartment every morning, even though they saw me 5 days out of every week for the past year. Now if the tree climber would have come in, they definitely would have let me know, and I would have heard them, even though I was sleeping. So after I let a little more time go by to realize what had actually happened, I then called the arborist and told him what happened, and after an uncomfortable laugh, he said I was crazy. He and I both know that I am not.